So we're out today picketing in front of the Union League Club of Chicago. This is where high-powered railroad executives from the Class 1 freight railroads in the United States and Canada are meeting to discuss business development. In other words, they're trying to figure out ways to make more money off of the backs of their workers. We're here today talking about the impact of this kind of greed on the workers themselves, as well as the inability of the railroad to adequately invest in infrastructure and safe staffing levels.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
What's happening is the Railway Age Rail Development Conference, and it's a gathering of rail CEOs, executives, vice presidents, everybody from the transportation industry out to port industry, and they're having like a development conference, and we're down here to let them know we don't agree with their policies.
Stop corporate greed! Stop corporate greed! Stop corporate greed! Stop corporate greed!
The theme of today is greed. The railroads in this country are exhibiting unrighteous greed, and it's coming at a cost of two main groups. One is those of us that work on the railroad. The railroads in negotiations with our unions have demanded crazy concessions on our health care and have only been willing to give a pittance of wage increases.
So we believe in a healthcare system in which every person who lives in this country has access to all necessary health care with no financial barriers and no financial burdens, where nobody can go bankrupt or lose their home or have to choose between paying their utility bills or their rent and paying for health care.
Yeah.
We want a healthcare system in which we all take care of each other. We want to take healthcare off the bargaining table. We have it. If we're on strike, if we're sick, if we're retired, if we have to change jobs, if we're working 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day, we have all the healthcare we need, and so do our families. That's what we work for. And we work for a healthcare system whose foundation is public health, in which workers are not killed and injured on the job. That's the healthcare system that we want. We're honored to be here working for that with you. And we oppose corporate greed, whether it's by insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, railroads, any corporations. We want healthcare and a social life that is founded on the needs of people.
We don't get no justice! You don't get no peace!
Hello everyone, my name is Tyree Johnson. I've been a McDonald's worker for 26 years, 2 decades. And they still don't pay me enough money. So I've been fighting ever since 2012. And I stand with any organization that stands up and fight back. It doesn't make sense to keep your mouth closed. You have a voice, use it. Fight back. The Fight for 15 and railroad workers stand together, are fighting corporate greed together.
Brian Smith with the International Brother of the Teamsters. Been working on the railroads for the past year. Been knocking down some big wins for the guys. They complaining about their working conditions, their health care, their safety, and just trying to win these campaigns and bring up the standard for the rail industry, get it back to where it needs to be. I think they had 1983 pay rates. That's ridiculous. So, plus we going at the XPO, so we know they touch all XPO freight. Just trying to get the rail industry back.
So the second group that the railroad is putting at risk is the community. By cutting costs, by refusing to have safe staffing levels, the railroads of this country are putting the communities through which the railroads run at risk. And this is our primary message today.
We know right now more than ever, workers are not getting the deal that we deserve, that we work too hard and too long for too little money and far too few benefits.
Absolutely.
And so what you all are doing here is important. It's great that we're out here, that folks are seeing you. And the example you're setting for your families, for all workers, is just amazing, exactly what we need. So we are here to support you. We've got your back. Whatever you need, let us know.
Chicago is the center of all rail in the United States. It's a major hub. This city right now is not safe because of the railroads. we have a looming crisis that is going to result in massive bloodshed if something is not done. A couple of numbers. In the year 2017, a relatively good year in this count, there were 1,190 derailments in the 48 lower states of the United States of America. 1,190. That's more than 3 a day. And that does not include derailments inside rail yards, derailments related to crossings. That's one. Number two, there were 888 deaths on the railroad in 2017. 888. Now, roughly 500 of those were suicides, and we can't entirely hold the railroad accountable to that, although they could have been doing better. We know that. That leaves over 300 deaths on the railroad in 2017 not related to suicides. That is outrageous. And there is no reason to believe that it's going to get any better if railroads like CSX, for instance, continue to cut and cut and cut. And so CSX just last week announced over 6,000 job cuts by 2020. We obviously hope that doesn't happen, because what is already an unsafe railroad will become unsafer, specifically for the people of Chicago.
One of the things today is about safety, and we just got the word. One of our brothers, Quentin Paisley, he's a track worker on CSX, just lost his life. All these guys are in here partying it up while he's dead. You know, that's bullshit to me. We'd like to have a moment of silence.
The protest and the picket line that's happening today is a true show of solidarity, and the meeting here at the Union League Club in Chicago is an example of that, where they're inside, just like Alec was in 2014, when they're considering their profit margins, while they failed to make sure that not one single worker dies on the job for 2018. So they're on the path of repeating the same situation where many workers' lives are at risk. In addition to that, nationally, there are supposed to be health and safety standards that the railroads are supposed to follow, and they are woefully behind in that. And that's what has cost 888 railway workers' lives, and that's a travesty. So apparently these railway companies, CSX and others, are more concerned about profit over literally the 888 lives of those members that were lost.
What's been happening on the freight railroads in recent years is staff numbers have been cut very dangerously across all occupations on the railroad, which has led to serious safety concerns for communities like Chicago, which are big rail hub towns, Chicago being the #1 rail hub town in this country. So here we are in downtown Chicago, alerting the folks walking down the street, as well as the railroad executives whose greed we think is very damaging to both the community and the workforce, that we're not taking this anymore. We are going to be raising the heat on them with the demand that they reinvest in people, they reinvest in infrastructure, and they rebuild the safety of America's railroad.